There are moments in life when the path before us vanishes, swallowed by darkness, uncertainty, and fear. We stand at the edge looking ahead, but the way is blocked by sickness, by sorrow, by failure, by a mountain too great to climb. It is in these moments that our faith is tested and doubt whispers cruel lies. There is no way forward. You are alone. This is the end. But let me tell you something today. God will make a way, not because we deserve it, not because we have earned it, but because he is a way-making God. He does not bow to the limitations of this world. He is not bound by human impossibility. Where there is no road, he carves one. Where there is no door, he opens one. When the waters rise and the storm rages, he speaks, and the winds obey. This is the God we serve, the God we trust. How often do we struggle to believe it? We say we trust God, but when hardship comes, we panic. When the future is uncertain, we cling to fear instead of faith. When prayers seem unanswered, we wonder if he has forgotten us. But let me remind you today, God is never late, never absent, never caught off guard. He is moving even when you cannot see it. He is working even when you do not understand. He is making a way. Think of the Israelites standing before the Red Sea. Behind them, Pharaoh's army thundered toward them, ready to destroy them. Before them, an impassable sea stretched to the horizon. There was no bridge, no boat, no escape. They had every reason to despair. But God had already prepared a way, a path they had never imagined. A miracle they could not have foreseen. With a command, the waters parted, and the impossible became possible. They walked on dry ground, not because they had a plan, but because they had a God who makes a way. Now, some of you might say, that was then, but what about now? What about my situation? Listen closely. The God of yesterday is the God of today. The one who parted the sea for them will part the sea for you. It may not be the way you expect. It may not happen on your timeline. But when the moment is right, he will move in power. The problem is we want to see the whole road before we take the first step. We want to know how the story ends before we trust the author. But faith does not work that way. Faith steps forward when the path is still hidden. Faith walks when it does not yet see. Faith says, I do not know the way, but I know the one who does. Some of you have been praying for answers, and heaven has seemed silent. You have waited, and the doors have not opened. You have tried, and the mountains have not moved. But do not mistake silence for absence. Do not mistake waiting for abandonment. God is not ignoring you. He is preparing you. Sometimes the delay is the way. Sometimes what feels like a denial is actually divine direction. Consider Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, falsely accused and imprisoned. Year after year, his life seemed to spiral downward. It would have been easy for him to say, God has forgotten me. But he did not see what God saw. He did not know that the prison was leading him to the palace. He did not know that the suffering was shaping him for something greater. But when the time came, the very chains that bound him were the stepping stones to his destiny. God was making a way all along, and he is doing the same in your life. The trials you are facing are not wasted. The pain you have endured is not pointless. He is working all things together for good. Even now, he is weaving a masterpiece from the broken threads of your story. But you must trust him, not just when things are easy, not just when the sun is shining and the road is clear. Trust him in the valley. Trust him in the midnight hour. Trust him when the answers do not come, when the storm does not cease, when the burden does not lift. Trust him when you cannot trace his hand, for he is still holding you. Some of you are standing at the edge of your Red Sea today. Some of you feel like Joseph in the prison, forgotten, overlooked, and broken. Some of you have been wandering through a wilderness, wondering if the promised land was just a dream. But hear me, do not give up. When you cannot see a way forward, God is about to make one. When you have no strength left, he will carry you. When you have no answers, he is still the answer. You may not know how, you may not know when, but the God who makes a way is already at work. So stand firm. Lift your eyes, hold on to his promises. Because he who made a way for Moses, for Joseph, for David, for Paul, he will make a way for you. Trust him, even in your toughest moments. He will not fail you.